Hello. Today we talk about one of my favourite bits of the Conquer the Conquerors topic, King John. Well, Henry II was obviously a very good king. He had great control of, well, his Angevin Empire. Now, he had two children, a guy called Richard, a guy called John. Richard was the oldest, and when Henry died, Richard became the king of the Angevin Empire. The thing is, Richard became king at a particular time in world history, the same time as a crusade. You don't need to know which one or anything like that, but Richard ran off from Britain to go and fight this crusade for Christianity. He went to Jerusalem in the Middle East to essentially try and win back some Christian artifacts and stuff and take over the city. And you don't need to know. Richard was not in the picture, but Richard was king. Richard was well liked. He was known as Richard the Lionheart. And John, our guy on the left there, did not like that. His older brother was getting all the glory when John was just sitting there like, I should be king. So John came up with a plan, a sneaky plan. See, you remember that France is not a very well organised country, and actually there's a king of France other than Richard. It's a guy called Philip II. And John goes to Philip II, writes a few letters to him saying, hi, yeah, you know what, should we team up? Like, I want to be king of England and you want your bits of France back. Like, why don't you attack Britain, you attack the areas of France that Richard controls to try and, stretch Richard out and make Richard look bad, and then they'll name me as king, you get what you want and I get what I want, that'd be a good trick. And it does happen. Philip attacks France. The thing is, John didn't plan this, because the thing is, Richard died in his crusade in the Middle East. Suddenly and unexpectedly, John was the only available person to become king, and suddenly John was like, oh wait, I'm fighting Philip II now. It's not like he's fighting my brother. Oh, he's attacking me. And suddenly John had to start fighting. The moment he becomes king, he has to fight off Philip II. And you know what? John sucks at fighting. John earned a nickname, John Soft Sword, I believe. He was not good at battles. He lost masses and masses of France. If you can see the map up there, the red areas is what Britain or England controlled, what John had to control over, and the red is a few years later. John sucked at battles and he lost loads of land to Philip II. He did not look good. The thing is, John was like, oh, I really need this win. I can't start off on a bad note. So he started spending loads and loads of money, continually trying to win land back in France. He was constantly fighting to try and win it back. And to do that, that cost loads and loads of money. So he had to raise the taxes of the people in Britain. The people in Britain had to pay more money to John so that John could go and fight for land in France. If you think about if you were an English person, you'd go, oh, for God's sake, John, why are you doing this now? And so the people in France hate John, the soldiers of Britain hate John, and even the people of England hate John. In fact, there's some other reasons why the people of Ireland ended up hating John as well. John was a terrible, terrible ruler, and in the space of essentially his lifespan, John managed to lose all power, all his money, his empire. He lost it all. And in fact, the people of England rose up against John a little bit, and John had to kind of give up some of his power through a document called the Magna Carta. What this did essentially was it took power away from the king, so that the king couldn't constantly raid taxes to go to war, and it gave some power to the English people, the lords, and should we say sheriffs is what they were called at the time. But essentially, and you'll learn about that in ethics and politics, essentially John lost his power, his country, his land, and the respect of his people all at once. There's a reason why he's the baddie in the Robin Hood story. So knowing that, you need to make sure you understand that Britain became this really powerful country, and then they lost it all suddenly, and Britain actually became kind of a rubbish place to live after that. So the questions you need to be able to answer from this is 1, who is John's brother and what was he up to in the Middle East? 2, who did John plot with against his own brother? Who did he plot with? 3, what was John's nickname after losing so much land in France from battles? What things did John do which angered the people of Britain? And 5, how did John manage to get the people of Britain on side again? Now, you need to know these answers to these questions in more detail than I've given you. Please use the textbook to find those answers. It's only on one double-page spread. You can absolutely do it, but it's on your Year 10 and Year 11 teams pages. Answer those questions, catch yourself up, revise this all, and get back to me. All right, good luck.